What does it mean to be afraid of something? Is it only scary if it leaves an impression on you? Fear is subjective. What horrifies one person might make another laugh. Some things don't hold up and stop being scary. Some things continue to haunt you and stay with you for life. Other things will stick with you, not making you afraid, but unnerving you, making you feel like you aren't safe. I don't think there are a lot of things that are actually scary. Well, things that actually matter anyway. This is a video about electronic video games that frightened Waylon as a child.
Happy Halloween. Have you been enjoying my Mad Monster madness? Certainly hope so. Thinking about changing the name for next year, though. Well, that is if I get the chance to do this again next year anyway. Say, you ever been scared by a video game? Oh, good. Get your goodie bags ready, because tonight I got a real treat for you. And what better night for treats than on the night of nights, during the witching hour of the most haunted day of the year? With that out of the way, though, this isn't a majorly serious video. It won't be heavily scripted or anything like that. Just some notes that I prepared for me to get things along. First things first, the Zelda duology on the N64, but let me instead talk about the GameCube. Let me take you back to like 2007. I was at my cousin's house playing the Zelda Collector's Edition for the GameCube. You know, it comes with Zelda 1, 2, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. This was my first exposure to those N64 games, and I remember being blown away by the graphics. That was before I played a real GameCube game. It was around the middle of the night. My cousin and I were way past our bedtimes, and we were playing Ocarina of Time. I remember being scared of the music that used to play inside the Great Deku Tree, and I had arachnophobia at the time, and still kind of do, so being in a dark tree, surrounded by giant spiders, really frightened me. Of course, my cousin teased me and laughed his ass off, despite being younger than I was. But it wasn't until we got to Goma, the first boss, did we both agree that this was the scariest game ever. I remember it dropped from the ceiling. Yeah, it dropped from the ceiling on top of us, and we both screamed while rushing to reset the GameCube. After that, we switched on Majora's Mask, and boy did we regret it. I remember being creeped out so much by the Happy Mask salesman, how he would constantly like change positions, but his like smile would never go away, no matter what. Like even when he's angry, he still has that like weird creepy smile. He's not like, I don't think he smiles with his teeth anymore, but still it's freaky looking. The Deku transformation when Skull Kid like transforms you at the very beginning of the game with the I don't know what instrument that is, so let's just say the Deku nuts rattling in like a tube or something. The rattling of those things, combined with like the constantly shaking atmosphere, the camera, all that, Link getting rushed by the Deku scrubs, that really freaked me out, because that's scary even today. Like there's no music, it's just creepy. Skull Kid's theme, I remember that freaking me out, specifically when you're on top of the clock tower and you confront him. You know how he like screams and he stops in the moon and his music starts coming on? A lot of creepy instrument choices, and I really applaud the composer for that game. Some of the music for the Skull Kid, like some of the same instruments, I think were used in Zelda Spirit Tracks for that game's main antagonist? I don't remember. But anyway, the Skull Kid, the next thing I remember was the moon killing everyone, because, you know, we were 7 years old, we didn't understand that we're supposed to use the Song of Time to go back in time to prevent the moon from falling. So to us, it's like, oh, okay, time's up, time to let the moon fall, and we would let that cutscene play every single time because we were idiots. But I remember the implications, like, I was young enough to understand the implications of the moon. Oh, it's falling, and everyone, including Link, who's supposed to be the hero, they're dead. We met with a terrible fate. Everyone is dead. They died a horrible death. They were crushed. They were burned to death. It's like that one scene, I think it's Terminator, where they're all like evaporated and turned to skeletons. It's a really raw scene, but anyway, it reminded me of that. And another thing that really scared me about Majora's Mask is I was a kid in the early 2000s. Everyone knows what Ben Drowned was. It was a series of weird WMV videos on YouTube of like the creepy, oh, it's the haunted game cartridge. But I remember it genuinely freaking me with the backwards music and how the statue would show up everywhere and how Link would just randomly die or get electrocuted and things would just happen to him no matter where he was. It made me think, oh my god, no matter where you go, you're not safe. You're constantly being watched. And that alone is like a phobia of mine, constantly being watched no matter where I am. And makes me feel like making me feel like I'm not safe. And that's exactly what Ben Drown did. And I know it was just a YouTube video at the time. Like I was able to tell, yeah, it's just a YouTube video. It won't affect me actually playing the game, but it still scared me. It was a scary video, and I associate my fear with the game, you know. And I think a lot of people did at the same time. Continuing with the GameCube, though, we have Luigi's Mansion. Funny how this would go on to become my favorite game of all time, but I think the majority of my fear stemmed from the feeling of being betrayed. Mario's been captured, but he's supposed to be this unstoppable hero. If he couldn't do it, then I'm powerless to do anything. I was also really afraid of the dark as a little kid, so the idea of there being ghosts that wanted to kill me in the dark only made things worse. The foggy atmosphere and the then creepy soundtrack really unnerved my childhood self. I think I was rather sheltered looking back. Things spooked me rather easily, and I didn't want to do anything that made me feel scared. King Boo's laugh scared me. I remember being frightened of that because all the different tones of his voice. Boo laughter in general kind of scared me, but King Boo specifically freaked me out. And speaking of King Boo, the Bowser suit that he goes into for the final boss, that scared me. But funny enough, I was playing it with the same cousin that I played Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask with. I remember getting upset with him because I can't do anything about it. He's huge. He doesn't have a tail. He's not a ghost. I can't suck him up with the vacuum. What am I supposed to do? You know? I didn't understand that, oh, you have to throw the bombs at him. That was the scariest I've ever seen Bowser depicted because, you know, I'm coming off the Super Nintendo. Bowser, he was just a small little sprite, and here he's like this big thing that can crush and kill Luigi, and he's roaring at me. I didn't play Mario 64 until I got a Wii, so I wasn't familiar. You know, that's just recycled roars from 64. But it was scary to me. Another thing that was scary to me about the game was, and I feel like this is more common, this is more realistic, I was scared of thunder and lightning as a little kid. So the fact that in a lot of the rooms in that game, there's thunder and there's lightning and you can hear it, it scared me, and how it lit up the whole mansion like that. I remember one night I actually played it when there was a thunderstorm, like in real life. I was playing in my bedroom and there was a thunderstorm, and every time the lightning would go off in the game, I'd be scared because I was thinking, oh no, now it's gonna happen in real life. I was playing with, I had covers on, I was playing in my bed, I was, you know, under the covers with just my hands and my head sticking out of the covers, holding the GameCube controller. You know, looking back, it's not even a scary memory. It's more like, wow, I was so naive and gullible as a kid. I can't believe things like that scared me.
So, you spooked solid yet? Just recalling these stories makes me glad that I'm not out there being subjected to the dark horrors of Halloween night. I've only got 2 more stories left to share, so I hope they really make you scream!
Super Mario 64. This is a game I very often played on the DS and the Wii. I just mentioned that. I remember never liking Big Boo's haunt, from the skybox, the evil music, and the overall hostile atmosphere. I hated being here. But then I got to Wet Dry World and things changed again. To this day, I can't really articulate why it scares me, more like it unnerves me. The music is just strange, and the raw emptiness just fills me with negative emotions and dread. For such an overall happy game, these 2 moments really made me not like playing it. Wet Dry World, it shares its music with Hazy Maze Cave, and for some reason I don't mind it in that level, because I feel like, oh, you're underground, it fits. The music sounds like it's muffled because you're in a cave. But with Wet Dry World, it just doesn't feel the same. The music just, it brings on this strange atmosphere of dread. You're also very alone. The only people in the town are enemies, and even then, they're really spread out and far apart. So for the most part, it's just you wandering around with the music playing, and it freaked me out. I remember I got to the top of the level because I figured out, oh, if you jump high, the water raises, so you can just swim up. And I saw the skybox of like the city, and it's like, oh, that's weird. There's like a town. Are there people there? Are they alive? Are they dead? Because I can see the sun coming from the water. We're underwater. Is the city sunken? Did all those people drown? Why is the town so empty? And then I got to the actual town where part of the other stars take place, and I'm like, oh, this is worse. This little underground town was also flooded. All these people must have drowned. There are no people. I'm all alone here. This is scary. This was coupled with my intense fear of drowning as a kid. The person that helped me learn how to swim was definitely a throw you in the deep end kind of teacher. So I was always scared of drowning as a little kid. So the fact that this level is primarily underwater, the frightening music, I'm the only one here, the implications of everyone in that town drowned and died, and now it's just me going through this ghost town, it all like combined itself and perpetuated into this really just this scary atmosphere, and it's just unsettling to me. I don't like talking about it. I don't like playing that level. It's more of the level is not scary. The implications are scary because your mind will come up with scarier tricks and scarier things than a game or anything else ever actually will. Your mind is sometimes your greatest enemy, you know? But yeah, I think most of my fear of this level stems from the implications. Big Boo's Haunt is just, it's a ghost level, it's scary. But Wet Dry World, I feel like more people can relate to me on that end. Back to the GameCube. You know what one of my favorite video games is? Pikmin II for the Nintendo GameCube. I love the Pikmin series. It's so colorful and cute and full of damn good gameplay, memorable characters, great lore, details, and some seriously messed up world building. Out of all the explorable treasure-filled caves in this game, the one that always gets under my skin is the submerged castle. Right off the bat, this cave sucks because you can only enter it with blue Pikmin, despite the cave being full of other elemental traps. But that doesn't even compare to the truly frightening things that, lurk underground. Alright, so some things about the submerged castle I don't really like was the music, and it really reminds me of the Cave of the Past from Earthbound, so it's really come full circle. It really drones over you, it makes you feel like, oh, something is not right here. This is definitely scarier than all the other caves. The atmosphere here is... it's not the same. Like, a lot of the other music in the caves, I wouldn't say it's happy-go-lucky, but it's definitely, it has a brighter atmosphere. Things, like, as soon as you enter, you can tell, oh, something's different here. And that keys into, I think, the sense of pressure that I feel and time limits. If there's something I do not like in games, it's intense pressure and time limits that I can't do anything about. It just puts me on edge. And yeah, some people actually work a lot better under pressure, and good for them. I'm glad that they can strive through that. But me, personally, it's kind of insane, because I feel like, oh, no matter what I do, I'm not good enough, I can't do this. And then things are timed, because there is a time limit, because at the end of, I think, 5 or 6 minutes, if you're not out of the current sub-level at 5 or 6 minutes, that's when the Water Wraith appears. And the Water Wraith is an non-killable, insta-kill enemy who is constantly chasing you, and his music is blaring every time he gets closer. So really it feels like, okay, you're being hunted, the music is already doing a good job of creeping you out. You don't have any control, you're under a time limit, this monster is chasing you, your resources may be dwindling, you might have taken a big hit, you can't finish this cave, you're gonna have to come back, and when you do, you can't kill this thing. It just feels like you have no control, and that's one of my biggest things, the lack of control. I hate feeling like I'm not in control of my actions, not in control of my character, not in control of the situation, and I really don't like it, and the submerged castle just does a fantastic job of preying on that fear.
Okay, now it's time for the last segment, and this one is
A Scream Fortress tradition hacks its way onto my list. The horseless, headless horseman is something that used to terrify me. From his evil laughter, the fact that he can kill you in one hit, the looming sense that he can spawn in any minute, and just the pure chaos that always happens when he appears. You'll see Ubered heavies running for their lives when this guy shows up. I feel like it just instills a specific fear that you just can't get anywhere else. I first started playing TF2 around 2012, I think. Might have been a little bit earlier, but I definitely remember 2012. And I remember playing on Man Manor on community servers. I was in for the shock of my life when he appeared and started hacking us all to bits. I don't think there's anything scarier than, say, playing engineer, trying to set up a sentry so that you can shoot him whenever he comes by, and then hearing that organ chime, seeing the skull appear over your head, and just the text that appears on your screen, "You're it!" Melee an enemy to tag them, and then that just overwhelming feeling of knowing, oh god, I don't know where he is, but he's locked onto me specifically, and he's gonna come and he's gonna kill me. I hate that feeling because now I'm going to drop whatever I'm doing. I'm going to run to escape his range. However far I gotta go, I hate the feeling of being hunted by this guy. Because that axe, the head taker, it can kill you in one hit, no matter what class you are. I think maybe I've escaped getting almost killed as a heavy, but even then, you know, heavy's slow. He'll just kill you anyway. But there's something so frightening about getting killed by him. It's that feeling of, oh god, he's right behind me, he's right behind me, he's right behind me, he's slashed, and I'm dead. And then my ragdoll goes all over the place, I don't have a head, and then it zooms in, you were killed by the horseless, headless horseman, you know what I mean? And when he's like low at health, and he gains that like purple fire, and he just starts running towards you more often, and he's like laughing and screaming, and the noises he makes when he kills people, it's just freaky. it's just freaky. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
It's okay. I'm alright. It's okay, guys. I'm not it anymore. I went and meleeed this random guy across the street, so I'm not it anymore. You know, with the threat to my life being over, I think I'm gonna call this an episode. It was pretty good. You know, recalling my past fears from things, even if they had no real reason to scare me. Sure, of course, as I got older, I just got more afraid of things because, hey, who doesn't live in constant fear as they get older? But things don't scare me as much as they used to. But if I have to give some honorable mentions to things that didn't quite make this video, I'd probably say something like Level 9 from Zelda 1, Ravenholm from Half-Life 2, the Monkey Family from Halo 3, remember those weird things? And probably the first half of Resident Evil 7. Everything after is kind of so-and-so. But hey, thank you. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for watching Mad Monster Madness. A ton of effort to put everything for this together. I'm really happy how it came out. Thank you for watching. And until then, thank you for staying tuned for everything. Keep watching and...